Gibson from Northport, Florida hit us up and said, who are some stock-up teams after the 2023 season? Well, I'll tell you one of them that's easy is Arizona, and they're about to play Oklahoma in a bowl game. To me, it's one of the must-see bowl games out of the entire season. So 2 years ago, Jed Fish takes over. Just a disaster of a program. They were 1-11. The next year, last year, they were 5-7. Progress. But that pales in comparison to what they did this year, 9-3. Their over-under win total was 4.5, and they doubled it up. How many teams did that, by the way? They doubled it up. They go 9-3. Noah Fafita, the backup quarterback, ends up getting pressed into duty and puts up huge numbers, and they run off a string. They won their final 6 games. Like I said, they got Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl. They're joining the Big 12 next year. Texas and Oklahoma hit the exit door. Arizona, at full speed now, joins the Big 12. Would it be the biggest shock in the world if they went in there and won that thing in year one? No, it would not. No, it would not. In fact, I'll be interested, speaking of FanDuel, to see the conference odds and where Arizona perceptionally stacks up when they release them in the spring. Next up, I know I'll get some eye rolls on this one. Miami actually trended up this year. Now, I know everyone's got an opinion on Miami. Some of you are emotional about them. And you may think to yourself, he's carrying water for Miami again. Well, they were 5-7 last year. They were 7-5 this year. And I would argue a catastrophic coaching decision against Georgia Tech kept them from being 8-4. And turnovers cost them in the aggregate at least one more game, to the point where I look at them and I don't think there's a ton keeping them from being a contender in the ACC this past year. Like this year, there's not a wide gap between what we saw and an alternate version of Miami that ends up contending. But they didn't get the job done. That's why they're 7-5. But trending up means I expect more from them next year than we got this year. It's a talent acquisition business, guys. You don't have to like the fact that they were top 7 in portal and recruiting last year, but they were. You don't have to like the fact that they're sitting there again in the top 10 in recruiting and probably will finish higher. They're 6th right now. They will make big splashes in the transfer portal. They've got good players. They're getting good players. So, again, your pushback could be, oh, they're not going to be a national title contender. I didn't say they were. I said I think they'll be better than 7-5 next year. That's called trending up. Ole Miss is trending up. Now, Ole Miss is easier to see because they just won 10 games again. They're already good. The question around that program, no matter how many moves Kiffin makes right now, is have they hit their ceiling? And there is a widely held belief out there that Ole Miss can't be any better than 10-2. And I'm looking at what they got coming back next year. So the receiving talent that's returning, the receiving talent that's being added via the portal, Judkin's still there, and Jackson Dart being back at quarterback, and a schedule that all of a sudden doesn't include Alabama on it. And I'm thinking, is 10 wins the ceiling there? It's hard to win more than 10 games. It's hard to win 10. But could they do more than that? With all this smoke and all this attention around the SEC being harder than ever, OU and Texas are joining. Could Ole Miss just be a surprise contender? I don't know. But I think they're trending up at the very least. I want to go to the state of Texas. Who are we going to talk about here? We're going to talk about Texas Tech? We're going to talk about A&M? We're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about TCU, are we? Nope, but stay in that city. I want to talk to you about SMU. You hear this? Hold on. Because they love this over on the SMU Twitter account when I do it. That's the sound of SMU galloping their way into the ACC. Did you know that, friends? No. They won the AAC this year, and the JP poll, by the way, only poll to be endorsing them halfway through the season. Crickets are the haters. Crickets, the haters that said, why is SMU there? Because they're going to go win the conference championship. The JP poll apologizes for being on them before any of the rest of the people were. But they're moving to the ACC next year. I think that was lost in all the conference realignment. I just don't think many people are even aware that next year SMU plays Florida State. They play Duke. They play Louisville. They also play Houston Christian, which is a rivalry that I have long waited to be reignited. SMU Houston Christian, baby. Get your tickets now. SMU also goes to Vandy next year. They are primed to explode. SMU is primed to do some big things. They are a program, along with UCF, that I have felt for quite a while. We're primed where if they ever get in a major conference, UCF already has, SMU is about to be there as well, could do some things in SMU's case that they've already done. They just did it a lifetime ago. UCF's never done it. You don't have to doubt it. I mean, if you're a 55-year-old fan of this sport, I don't really need to school you on what SMU can be. I do think if you're 25 years old, I need to school you, and it is at this point in the show where I am not going to be the one who schools you. I'm just going to say you're on Christmas break right now, okay? You've got Amazon Prime, or you've got the ESPN Plus app, or your buddy's account. Go find Pony Excess, not Express. Go find Pony Excess. It is the best 30 for 30 that ESPN ever did, and it will tell you the entire story of when once upon a time SMU was the top college football program in America. What did he say, Mom? I said SMU was once upon a time the top college football program in America. And some of the great sound bites in history are on that very, very high-level documentary. I love it. Bayless is on there. Vern Lundquist is on there. Brent Musburger is on there. When the local media turns their guns on you, you are finished as a program. I could probably recite like 80% of that documentary. So kids, if you want something to do over your Christmas break, Pony Excess, 30 for 30. Go find it. And finally, we wanted to do 4 teams, but I snuck a 5th in here. Iowa State's trending up. And don't be shocked. Don't be fooled. No. This isn't just homerism. It is homerism, but it isn't just homerism. They were 4-8 last year. They were 7-5 this year. They are trending back up. Matt Campbell, about every third year, we look for him to sneak an 8 or 9 win season in there on us. They won 5 of their last 7 to close the year. They were very competitive against Texas up in Ames. They beat Kansas State in a snow globe. And now they've got the Big 12 Offensive Rookie of the Year at quarterback in Rocco Becht, as I pronounce his name. I think next year may be a good year for Iowa State football. #us. And us is all we have in Ames, Iowa. You know, even Hassel, when he shows up in Ames now, he doesn't even do local media anymore. You saw the clip. I saw the clip. All we got is us, guys, and that's all we need.